Hi everyone, this is so exciting. This isn't my first YouTube video, but I haven't done one for a very long time and I want to get back into it. So I thought I would start with the question that I get asked the most by far out of every single question, and that's, how did you become a plus size model? How do I get into modelling? How do I get my foot in the door? All those kind of things. So I want to just jump straight into it. I think I'll start with my story and then talk about the industry in general, and then maybe do like a Q&A thing at the end, because I did get a lot of questions on Instagram about this. All my social links will be down below. Please subscribe if you like the video, because I'm going to be doing a lot more, and ask me any questions in the comments. I am an avid reply to comments kind of gal, so let me know if there's anything that I haven't answered in this video, and I'll be very pleased to do so. Quite a few people know this, but the way it started was I was in my third year at university. I went to Nottingham and I was studying French and economics, so as part of that I had to go out for a year and live in a francophone country. So I chose to live in Paris. I was there for like 10 months and I was largely an au pair. The food there is phenomenal. It's cheese, cold meats, baguettes, everything's freshly cooked. There's like a bakery on every single corner. They do these incredible mini donuts that are filled with chocolate, and I'm a sucker for dairy and carbs and all the good beige food. So I put on so much weight when I was there. This was obviously on the back of uni as well. I put on a huge amount of weight in first year because I was just on Hall's food and it was gross. So I'd have like potatoes and bread every night. So many takeaways. It wasn't healthy, it wasn't good. I wouldn't recommend putting on a lot of weight within a short period of time, but that's just what naturally happened with me. So I was living in Paris. I was an au pair. I would often have people come out to visit, one of which was my best friend. She came out and she was like, look, I'm gonna be honest, you are pretty, you have a pretty face, but you've put on a lot of weight. Thanks for the honesty, best friend, that's why you are her. So she was like, why don't you think about plus size modelling? And I thought, that is the most genius thing ever. I was 21 at the time, so this was in like 2012, I think, something like that. And it was just a case of Googling. The next day I just Googled Paris plus size agency, and one came up that was coincidentally like 2 metro stops from me. So I just emailed them, sent in some pictures, like very plain kind of makeup like this, some headshots, some full shots, and then I went in to see them a few days later. A lot of speaking in French, a lot of stuff I didn't understand, and then I just signed a contract, and the next, I think 2 weeks after that, I was on my first ever modelling job, which was a YouTube advert for a brand called Castelluna, which are now La Redoute. You've probably heard of them. It was massive. It was a massive production, still one of the biggest ones I've actually ever been on. There were probably about 40 staff members there, and we shot the whole day. There were no other models, it was just me, and I had never ever modelled before, so I was really thrown in at the deep end. I think that was probably, what, 7 years ago, so I have learned a lot more now. But just to think that somebody who has never modelled before got booked for that job, it got like, I think 500,000 views on YouTube or something. It was a really big deal. And shortly after that I actually moved back to the UK and then got signed in the UK. So that's how it started for me. But I think everybody has their own kind of way into the industry. A lot of people fall into it, some people do pursue it, some people enter competitions. There are so many different ways into it. So don't think that you need to start a French degree, go to Paris, eat a lot, and then get booked onto a YouTube commercial. It doesn't work like that. That is just what happened to me. I have never been scouted on the street ever. I don't consider myself somebody who actually looks very modelly. I have a very commercial face and I'm fine with that. I'm not editorial in the slightest, and all the money is kind of in commercial work anyway, so I don't mind that at all. I have always emailed agents and been like, I want to meet you, I'd love to be represented by you, or even just like, can I come in, pop in, let's have a chat, I'll show you my book. Or when in the beginning I was like, I'll just show you some pictures of me, see if we get on, see how that goes. And being represented by an agent is kind of the most important step into becoming a model, a plus size model, a curve model, a straight model. Lots of stuff in this video I will say is applicable to straight size girls as much as curve girls. But the one thing I would say is just be cautious, because there are lots of agents out there who will ask you to pay a fee to be on their books, or to try and get you to pay for pictures in the agency. I do have to pay a yearly fee, but that's just like an admin thing, and it's a very low fee in terms of like website costs and being constantly promoted by the team. And I also pay for test shoots sometimes, depends on the photographer, but we'll get back to that in a minute. But largely you shouldn't be told by an agent that you need to pay to be on their book. So the way it's always gone is I've emailed an agent, I've gone in, I've had a conversation with them, and either they've said, so sorry, you're not right for us, which has happened a lot of times, but you just keep on going and you eventually find an agent that you do trust and that you do want to be represented by. In terms of choosing that agent that you want to approach and the ones thereafter, if your first choice says no, you need to look at what girls they have on their books. Are those girls working regularly? Do you recognise them from campaigns and e-com and all that sort of stuff? Like, that's how you know who the legit ones are. If I looked at an agent and I didn't recognise any of the models on their books, then I probably would just leave them out, to be honest, because they're clearly not booking their girls as much work as I would want to be booked for, if that makes sense. Ones of note are I'm with IMM, for example. Milk is another agency in London who are really good for curve. Wilhelmina, Bridge Models, who also do men's plus size as well. They're the ones you kind of need to look out for. What you can do is just call them up and see if they have any walk-in dates, which just mean anybody can go in, meet with an agent, and either it's kind of like a yes or no in the first like couple of minutes, or you can send pictures through online. I will put some example pictures up here of the types of shots that you can send into agencies. They like tight-fitting clothes, very plain makeup and hair, just stuff that really shows the natural you. Again, do check that these agencies are reputable, because you don't want to be sending undie pics to absolutely randomers on the internet who have like a Hotmail address. But just kind of listen to your gut and just think about what you are doing, who you are sending these pictures to. A lot of the agents have like how to become a model or like join us tabs on their website, so you can check them out there, and they will stipulate what kind of pictures they need, what kind of quality, if they want like a bio, if they want a video, all that kind of stuff. And it can be shot with just an iPhone at home. You just need good lighting, a plain background, and just natural hair and makeup and clothes that are well fitting. A lot of people have asked me about like height and weight and size requirements. Obviously, being curved myself, this isn't something really that was in the industry 15 years ago, so I couldn't have gone to an agency then. Some people do have minimum height requirements, it depends on the agency, but nobody really requests size because there is straight size and curve now. If you're like a 10, 12, 14, it's still worth going into these agencies if they'll see you, because there are kind of these like middle models coming out now who are still booking as much work as the straight girls or the curve girls. It's just a very niche part of the fashion industry at the moment. If you are straight size, they tend to look for like UK size 4 and 6, and then if you're curve, it's kind of around the 16 mark and above. Prepare yourself maybe for some rejection, because that is part of the job. If you get signed, you will get rejected a lot based on what you look like. So if you don't have a thick skin, and if you aren't comfortable with people judging you on your looks, then you might want to think twice about being in this industry and how that might affect your self-esteem. I very much see myself as kind of like a brand and a product when I go into a casting, and I got some incredible advice at the beginning of my career that was go in like you've got it and leave like you haven't. And I do that with kind of everything now. It's like the confidence that you've already won when you go in and you're kind and polite and you've got good energy, and then you just leave and you forget about it. And if you do get signed, it's going to be your daily job to be rejected anyway, so it's something you're going to have to get used to. But ultimately, like anything, if you want it in life bad enough, don't give up. Just keep going, keep trying different avenues. Just keep trying, keep knocking on doors, keep sending emails. You know, if you don't get a response to your email, send a chaser email and just keep on going. It's so important to have grit and to persevere in anything, really. And yeah, keep going. I think it's also important to be choosy with who represents you. So if you get to the stage where maybe you have one agent who's interested in you, or you're lucky enough to have a few, just go off vibe, go off your gut. Who did you have a really good feeling about? Who did you have good conversation, good eye contact? Did they really feel interested in you? I know some incredible models who go out to New York to these massive agencies and the agents are not interested. They kind of sit there sort of like playing with their pen and like kind of twiddling their thumbs, and they are just not interested in these girls who are booking a lot of work, who are beautiful, who have amazing UK representation. And the models are like, I just couldn't go with them because I didn't get a vibe. I didn't feel like they were particularly welcoming. I didn't feel like they were excited about me. They're going to be girls on the agent's books already that they're really excited about. So if they're not excited about you, there's no point in just being signed because it looks cool or sounds good. It's like you have to be in the forefront of their mind. If they're not pushing you for stuff every single day, then you're not going to be booking a lot and you're not going to be a successful model, but you will be signed, but it doesn't count for anything. I've had a lot of questions from girls who are not getting signed. They've been to all the agents, and that's really hard advice to give because maybe this isn't for you, potentially. Maybe you're not the right height, the right shape, the right size for some agencies, and ultimately they are kind of saving your time, because if they say to you like, we don't want to represent you, you shouldn't want to be represented by them because they're not going to be doing a very good job for you. But that doesn't mean you need to give up. You need to get the agents interested in you. You need to get brands interested in you, because ultimately if brands are interested in you, then agents are going to be interested in you, because agents get the money off brands. So that means you need to start exploring other avenues, things like YouTube and Instagram, and building an online presence. Like, you need to be building yourself as a brand, and you need to be making people interested in you. So social media, because it's really important. Building a following, building engagement, it's your online portfolio. It shows brands and it shows clients and agents and everybody what you're about, what you look like in clothes, how you move. We now have YouTube and stories, so you can really showcase your personality. Can you talk to camera? Can you deliver lines? Everything there, just think of it as like you as a brand online, your online portfolio. Because I was once told by an agent that a lot of the bloggers are now stealing model jobs because brands are wanting to get the exposure that the bloggers provide that models often don't. So if you can kind of be a blogger and a model together, that's perfect. But if you can't be a model, then you might want to think about blogging and vlogging and being an Instagrammer, influencer, content creator, because brands will want to partner with you and then agencies will want to be interested. I think the term model has become very fluid with the increase in particularly Instagram being an important role in marketing. And if you are somebody who is paid for pictures, you're essentially a model. It's not just a case of an agent saying yes or no to you, but you can really work your way to the top. If you want it, I totally believe that you can get it. Anything in life, even something as difficult as the fashion industry, if you want it, you can work for it and you can get it. It just might mean you need to work harder than other girls if you don't have the backing of an agent. In the beginning, you might have to do something called TFP, which means time for print. I did a lot of this. It is where you test for free with photographers. So you don't get paid, the photographer doesn't get paid, and you just collaborate together to benefit each other's portfolio. So you'll want to do a variety of different types of shoots. So maybe like swimwear, underwear, you might want to do some like black and white shots, some kind of edgy shots, some more commercial shots, and really just looking at other models' books and kind of copying ideas. There are also a lot of circumstances where you do have to pay really good photographers to work with them, which seems kind of backwards in a way, because it's like, I'm paying you as a photographer so then I can go to jobs and get paid, but you do see the return on your investment if you work with a really, really good photographer, get great shots, and then that you are regularly going to castings and then you eventually book jobs out of it. So it's kind of, you have to really think about the amount that you want to pay, what kind of jobs you're being put forward for, how much you might get paid from those jobs, and does that kind of offset the cost of you doing paid tests. Again, that's where social media comes in handy as well, because if you are somebody who has a really large following or really high engagement, then photographers are more likely to want to work with you for a lower fee or no fee at all if it gives them exposure. Again, there are a lot of photographers offering either TFP shoots or asking for money, and it's really important to look at their work first. Are you going to get what you want out of this shoot, or are you just going to be shooting some very seedy lingerie pictures in the photographer's bedroom? So just be careful. Look at who he's worked with, look at the kind of caliber of work that he's producing. I just realised I've said he the whole time. I've worked with a lot of female photographers, let me tell you that, a lot. Probably half and half now. So again, it's exactly the same as agents. Just look at their work, look at who they're working with. Are they producing really high quality, beautiful photos? And what kind of things do you want in your book? What kind of clients do you want to attract? What kind of agents do you want to attract? And just keep on building from there, and then you can like fill holes. Like I was looking at my book the other day and I was like, I don't have the colour red feature that much, so like next time I want to do something with a red suit, or I don't have a pink background in there yet. And it's just about getting the most kind of diverse, ticking every box, so that when a client opens up my book and they see what work I've been doing, it's kind of a no-brainer to book me. I'll get my book actually. So old school books were like actual paper books, which people still use, and I absolutely love them. However, I've switched onto my iPad, which I love, and then you just go in and it's something like this, and then you have all of the different pictures that the client can just swipe through and see what you're about. There's like sportswear, editorial stuff, commercial stuff, lingerie, blah 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 blah. And that's what they show them. And then you also get a Z cards. I keep mine in a little protective folder, but this is so that the client knows who to contact after they've seen you. Has all your measurements and stuff on it. This is mine. And so you'll often go to a casting and it's like, try on some of their clothes, show them your book, leave them with a card, say hi, and that's it. That's a casting. It lasts probably all of about 5 minutes. I went to a casting one time and it took me 2.5 hours to get there. It was up in Manchester. I saw the client for 5 minutes and then I came back and I never heard anything, and that's just the way it goes. So I asked for everybody's questions on Instagram, so let's just do a quick Q&A of things that were asked and I can answer them for you now. What are your measurements? Have they changed much since you started modelling? I've pretty much always been like a size 16, 18. I'd say I'm more of a 16 on the top, 18 on the bottom, so I'm ever so slightly pear-shaped. The industry does prefer hourglass figures. Hopefully that's something that is going to change, because we need to start representing more shapes than just the kind of ideal hourglass as a curve size. And I'm 5'10", which is a really good model height. Not such a good height when you are 13 in the disco and all the boys haven't hit puberty yet, but it's making up for it now. Can you become a model if you suffer from acne? Oh, good question. Honestly, I would say it depends on how much acne you suffer from, because I have regular breakouts around my chin and my neck at the moment, and I'm just very good at hiding it. Clear skin is something that I'm really working towards, because I think when you walk into a job and somebody's paying a lot of money for you for the day, then I do feel self-conscious about the fact that I have acne, so I'm cutting out dairy. I sometimes do go with concealer on my spots to the job, even though they do make the makeup for you there, just because it makes me feel a little bit more confident when I walk in and say hi to the client for the first time and the makeup artist. But if you can get it under control as much as possible, it's only going to better your chances of being represented. Do you follow any specific exercise/diet regimes? Does your agency keep tabs on it? My agency at the moment, one of the things that really I loved when I first met them was that I was saying to them something like, you know, I'm kind of like a 16 now, I think I'd book more work if I was to become an 18, so I was thinking of putting on a bit more weight. My opinion has changed since then, by the way. I think putting on weight as a plus size model is just as unethical as losing weight as a straight size model. And they said, look, we love you the way you are, we would never ask you to change anything, and we wouldn't, not that they wouldn't support me wanting to make a change, it's totally your decision, they said, but we don't feel like you should change or that you need to change for the industry, which I thought was very honest and very lovely. So that was one of the other reasons that I decided to go with them. Did you face any judgment from friends/family for taking this path? I think it's great, by the way. Thank you, Annabelle. No judgment. really. I think I started at an age like 20, 21 is fairly late in the modelling industry. I was an adult, it was my decision, so I didn't face any criticism. I think sometimes when I'm not working so much, people question like, oh, would you do anything else? And no, because this is what I want to pursue and I love it. And there are quiet periods. There are quiet periods, but you just have to keep on going and keep on changing and keep on persevering for something that you really love and you really want. So no judgment from friends. Do you need to be based in London to be successful? No. Manchester has a load of agencies, however I think it is preferable to be based here. It's where all the castings are, it's where all the big agencies are, so unless you are particularly, you don't mind commuting for the castings, which again, you can see somebody for 5 minutes, it will be very expensive for you to do so and take up a lot of time, so it depends on how much money you have to spend on travelling and if you have all that free time. How is the work environment? Are there any negatives, e.g. type of people, other models, criticism, etc.? The work environment's great. I can only really speak for curve modelling. I know there are a lot of scary stories about straight size modelling, but curve modelling couldn't be nicer. All the other girls are so friendly, and everyone's just kind of rooting for other people. Like when we get major campaigns, or you know, you see like a friend that you've modelled with in a shop, you're just happy for them, because I think we're all together in this curve industry, and kind of somebody else's achievement is my achievement in a way, because we only want to be like making waves and kind of progressing and becoming realized as true models in the fashion space. So everyone's very supportive of each other. The only negative I would say is the fact that you don't know when you're going to book your next job, and you have to be incredibly flexible at last minute. You have to be able to go to castings at the drop of a hat. Sometimes you have to get flights at the drop of a hat. I always have my passport in my handbag, and you just have to give everything up at the last minute, which is really annoying in terms of making plans. But I love it. I absolutely love it. Nothing gets me more excited than getting an email through from my agent being like, you've been confirmed for. I feel euphoric when I have that email. So yeah, it's very last minute all the time. That's probably the worst thing about it, but I think that keeps it exciting as well. What percentage money wise does your agency take from your job bookings? I hope they won't mind me saying this. They take 20%. That's very, very standard across all agencies. I have international agents who take slightly more because that's standard for their country. But yeah, 20%, very, very standard. Do I just call an agency and ask to come in and meet them for the first time? Yes, you can, definitely. They might even have times on their website where they do walk-ins, but I would always recommend calling somebody up, because then at least they know that you're coming in. Like, what if you decide to go on a day that the curve booker like isn't there? So it's always just worth checking out, giving them a call, and then just being like, oh, by the way, my name's Mollie, like I'm going to be coming in on Thursday, like looking forward to meeting you then, or something like that. Have you ever had to lose/gain weight for a gig? Like the use of the word gig. No, I don't know if any client, I've never even been asked to. I think the agent would be really annoyed with the client if the client did ask that, and I would be quite shocked. I think clients are honest when they say like, oh, we think you're a bit too small, or like, if you go into cast, a lot of the time you'll test in their clothes, and then you kind of get idea that maybe you're too big for the samples or too small for the samples, and then, but that's no reason to change your weight, because A, you might have to lose or put on a lot of weight in the next week, the next couple of days, which just isn't possible, and B, you might be the perfect size for another client who wants to cast with you tomorrow. So just kind of have some integrity and just stick with your size and be proud of it. How did you know modelling was for you? I don't think you ever really do until you actually have a lot of experience with the industry, but I'm very thick-skinned, so I don't mind rejection. I'm very persistent, so that helps as well. I like being the centre of attention, if I'm being quite honest. I think I know how to pose, so I just really enjoy it. I enjoy what I do every single day. I enjoy booking, I enjoy working, I look forward to working, which I think is such a luxury to have. I know so many people hate their jobs. I love mine. I can't wait for the next day of work, and that's how I know that it feels right for me. How do you keep confidence and self-love when being told no for a job based on looks? Good question. I think again this links back to the fact that different clients are going to want different girls. Like if I know that a client has booked a girl who is mixed race with an afro over me, I just can't be offended by that at all. Like they just want somebody particular, a particular size, shape, a hair colour, skin colour, whatever, for that particular job. So, and also there's nothing that you can do about it really. Like I can't go into a casting and make myself something that I'm not. You just have to accept it. I actually also think being in the plus size industry has helped me become more accepting of my body, because the girls that I follow and the agents that I follow, the bloggers that I follow, a lot of them are plus size, curve, and they are kind of inspiring to me. And I'm not comparing myself to a lot of straight size girls and kind of Instagrammers and content creators and stuff who are not relatable to me. Being in this space has allowed me to become happier with my body, more confident with my body, which I think is a really good tip on improving body confidence. If you want to do something today to improve yours, it's follow people who you feel like you can relate to, who you look up to. There's so many very, very slim girls doing their kind of Instagram content creation, which is great, and you know, lots of them are friends of mine and I support them, but I just don't feel like I relate to that kind of content. There are so many amazing women out there doing stuff in the kind of BOPO community, and I follow them and I relate to them. I relate to their bodies, their shapes, their sizes, their ethos, and so it makes me feel like I'm doing it right by my size as well. My battery's running out, so I'm gonna have to cut the Q&A there. I hope that's answered everything. If you have any more questions, please, please, please leave a comment and I will respond. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you a bit more insight into the industry. I think bottom line is, if you want it, you have to go for it, and that is with everything in life. And if you want it that much, then just don't give up. So thank you very much for watching my YouTube video. I can't believe I'm saying that. And subscribe and like would be lovely. Thank you very much, and I will see you for the next video.